His name's Eric Kohn. He's the marketing manager for Illinois Policy. IllinoisPolicy.org, as I pointed out time and time again, is a site that you need to visit on a regular basis, daily, I would say. Have it bookmarked. You're going to find a lot of great information. And one of the cool things about Illinois Policy is they will offer up a very strong critique of things that are going on in this state. But they also offer up solutions as well. It isn't just a drive-by and, oh, this is all wrong and they're doing this terribly and let's move on to the next story. In the same breath, then they offer up some of their own solutions for it, and those are very well thought out, and I highly encourage you to visit. Eric, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking time to be on with us. You've been all over the place. You're a radio veteran. Looking a little bio here on you.
Yeah, it's a passion and something I enjoy doing. So I've had a great opportunity to not only be on this side of the microphone, but your side of the microphone as well. So.
Outstanding. Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your day for us, and to get into a topic that, well, as you might understand, really raises up the ire around this area, and that is property taxes. In particular, while Illinois property taxes were in the middle of the pack nationwide 20 years ago, since then, Illinois' residential property tax burden has risen 80%, and the primary driver of the cost is pensions. That's a stunning couple of numbers there, Eric.
It absolutely is, and this is the reality of what's facing homeowners in Illinois, and it's one of the things that's making it hard for a lot of people who want to stay in this state to stay in this state, that they are continuing to pay more and more into the system through property taxes, and they're not getting anything in return. So much of that money that is going into the system that they're told is for core services is not going to services. It's going to service the pension debt. So take, where you are in Winnebago County, 88 cents of every new dollar, property tax dollar for fire departments has gone to pensions and not to fire protection. 85 cents of every new property tax dollar in Winnebago County has not gone to police safety, but has gone to pensions. And meanwhile, we're looking at property taxes rising 134% faster than home values in Winnebago County. So what does that mean? I mean, that means real pain for homeowners in this state who are forced into a terrible position where they either need to take a loss on their homes because they can't stay here anymore, or they see their family budget stretched so thin that they're trying to find money to cover the increase in property taxes. Meanwhile, you have some government employees who can retire in their 50s and collect millions of dollars over the course of their retirement, and you have Illinois homeowners wondering if they can retire at all.
Yeah, that's, you have boiled down probably a kitchen table conversation had by a giant percentage of people in this area. Is that very thing. And, I talked to somebody just the other day who said, I keep hearing about outbound migration, Illinois leading the Midwest in outbound migration. I'd love to be part of it, but I can't even afford to do that.
We know that people want to stay. I mean, they'd like to if they could, but it just becomes so difficult when they've watched their property taxes continue to rise and rise and rise. Their home values have not improved. And what can they do? I mean, you get forced into the position, like some people do, of you sell your home at a loss in order to get out because you just can't afford what you're looking at in the future for how much you're going to continue to have to pay in property taxes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. It would be different if, you saw a little light at the end of the tunnel. If moves were being made in the right direction where people would feel as though, okay, there's a cause for optimism here, but that light that we may be seeing at the end of the tunnel is just another train appearing.
And for a lot of taxpayers, yes. I mean, again, so they're being told that, they have to pay more and more into the system. And this is the reality, is that when we hear that pensions have been underfunded, Illinois taxpayers have never stopped paying into the system. The problem was that the promises that were made were unaffordable. They were never going to be affordable. And now it's time for us to take a responsible look at how we address this problem, which is going to involve two things. In the short term, we're going to have to look at 401k programs for new employees coming into government jobs. And in the long term, we're going to need to look at amending the Illinois State Constitution so that we can get these unaffordable pension benefits under control.
And why is it, you mentioned the 401ks for new employees. It sure seems to me like that was a solution, and I've heard this being kicked around for about the last decade or so, but no progress seems to be made on it. I understand fulfilling promises made to those in the past, but why are we continuing to make promises to people that we're really going to have a hard time keeping it?
It's kind of the nature of Illinois government, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You look around at states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, and they've recognized the problem, and they have moved towards 401k style systems. In Utah, when pensions consumed 10% of their budget, they recognized that that was going to be problematic, and they made changes. Meanwhile, here in Illinois, pensions now consume 30% of our general fund budget, and we're still kind of living in denial that we can actually deal with this problem. So it is in the interest of state workers to move into a 401k style program, because let me give you this example. Of the 5 state pension funds in Illinois, the one in the worst condition is the one for retiring state lawmakers themselves. Now, if they can't be responsible enough to take care of their own retirement, why should anyone trust them to be in charge of their own retirement? It's time to make a change, and 401ks are the first step in doing that.
If you're just joining us, we're spending some time with Eric Kohn. He's marketing manager at Illinois Policy. IllinoisPolicy.org is the site you want to visit. One of the stories, pension make Illinois property taxes among the nation's most painful. And this is a very, very large article, but boy, it is so well put together with a lot of pie charts that will make you angry. I mean, I would imagine, Eric, you had some similar response when you looked at the way some of this pie chart is divided on what your tax dollars are going toward, what you think they're going toward, but what they're actually being poured into.
Well, yeah, it's because taxpayers have been deceived. I mean, they've been told for so long that, it's necessary that they put in more and more money so that you can have better schools, so that you can have better core government services. And as I pointed out, the reality is that's not what this money is going to. So much of that money coming in is going to pensions and not to those services. So people's reaction, I think, is a combination of anger, certainly, but also pain. I mean, there's just a lot of people out here in this state who are hurting, who need a solution, who are in that situation of, wondering how they're going to make their budget work, how they're going to meet their property tax obligation, how they're going to meet the rest of their obligations with that property tax obligation factored in. They need solutions. So we're trying at IllinoisPolicy.org to not only provide them the solution, IllinoisPolicy.org, go to the Take Action tool, track legislation that is moving, as we'll continue to push for these solutions in Springfield in coming legislative sessions.
And, let your legislators know. But as you mentioned, a great first stop is IllinoisPolicy.org. That way you can wrap your head around what exactly is going on here, because the article is written in such a way that it will make you angry, but at least you'll understand exactly what it is you're angry about and see it broken down into percentages for you. Pensions versus public safety is one of the pieces in this article, and pointing out particularly stark in St. Clair and DuPage counties, where 95% and 98% of additional funds for the cops went to pensions, respectively.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, this is true in Winnebago County, too. So 88 cents of every new dollar is going to pensions and not fire departments. 85% cents on the dollar going to police pensions and not police safety. This is the deception that has been sold to Illinois taxpayers, as they're told, we need to pay more in property taxes because we need these core government services. We need more money in the classroom. Whereas again, that money is not ending up in the classroom. It's ending up paying for pensions for government workers. Like, take, for example, Roger Costello, who retired from Winnebago County in 2007. In 11 years, he's taken in more than $1.2 million in taxpayer-funded pension benefits. And the total amount he paid into the system was only $111,000. And you have that up against struggling families who have to think about their retirement, their property tax bill, their other budget obligations. And it's not fair to Illinois taxpayers, and it's a system that needs to change.
It desperately does. Get over to Illinois Policy and see how it needs to change and what can be done to rectify or at least try to bail some of the water out of this ship. IllinoisPolicy.org, IllinoisPolicy.org to find out more.